Tonight, the federal government is continuing its mission against social media giants in a bid to keep Aussie kids and teens safe online. But there are fears of a gaping hole in the plan, with arguably one of the most dangerous platforms looking set to be exempt.
It's the seemingly innocent Yellow app for sending quick snaps that disappear in seconds.
Some of the most horrendous stories that parents have seen online in relation to their kids are Snapchat.
But while the government moves to crack down on young people using social media, its efforts may not extend to Snapchat because of a technicality.
They will argue that they are messaging services and not social media services, but we need to assess that objectively against a transparent set of criteria.
It's like saying you're going to pass a law in relation to supermarkets, but you're going to exempt Woolworths. It is absolutely absurd.
Social media or not, the app has proved dangerous for some. In 2022, Bathurst teen Matilda Rosewarne took her own life after her schoolmates faked a porn photo of her and shared it on Snapchat. The same year, 17-year-old Rowan Cosgriff died by suicide after being blackmailed on Snapchat by a sextortion scammer threatening to release intimate pictures of him.
So why on earth the minister is saying that they could potentially be exempted? It beggars belief. I was completely gobsmacked by this.
Today, the government also announced it will be legislating a new digital duty of care law, which would make social media giants responsible for implementing measures to keep Aussies, especially kids, safe online.
This, as part of a growing global effort, will deliver a more systemic and preventative approach to making online services safer and healthier.
It follows similar moves from the UK and the European Union to shift the focus from reacting to harm to preventing harm.
We will ensure the regulator can draw on strong penalty arrangements.
So, as loopholes and criticism continue to emerge, will the government's social media crackdown prove effective?
Here to unpack this with us is former Facebook Australia CEO Stephen Shearer. Stephen, this onus of the duty of care being put on the platforms, do you think it will make a difference?
I think it could make a difference. I mean, I think we should expect these platforms to build tools that are safe for kids to begin with, rather than having to ban, have parents or others ban kids from using those tools in the first place. I think a duty of care is a good idea.
So the details around this are all pretty vague. What can these companies actually do to keep kids from harm online?
Yeah, the details are vague. Look, I think each company has been doing different things to try to mitigate some of the damage or the downsides of social media. But I think there's no question they can do more. And a lot of the harm, that we're looking at now with the government is around the algorithmic part of social media now, how it serves content that tends to interfere with the emotional responses of individuals, particularly kids. And so being able to tailor those algorithms or turn those algorithms off, I think is a very important part of how we need to think about how those platforms could make these products just safer to begin with. You shouldn't be able to, have to get in the car and be a car safety expert. You should be able to just trust that the car works and is safe. I think the same should be true of social media.
So I totally understand that, but is there not a risk if you just say you have a duty of care now and you just fulfil it any way you can or any way you can think of, that they end up coming up with solutions that maybe we don't want? That might involve, I don't know, I'm just making this up, this might be a stupid thought, but facial recognition stuff that will then harm us down the track with the data they keep, or stuff that preserves the algorithm in a certain way because they can make money out of it, whatever. Might we not be better off saying, no, these are the particular standards we actually want?
Well, there's a saying, it's trust but verify, right? So I wouldn't just trust the platforms to do the right thing, just as we have other regulations and other ways of managing the safety of all kinds of products we use every single day, the food we eat, the drugs we take, the cars we drive. I think the same should be true of social media. There should be a duty of care for them to create safe products, but at the same time, the government and the industry itself can police or patrol and make sure that those standards are being met consistently by the social media platforms.
Now, as the parent of a 14-year-old, I'm really intrigued about this ban in Australia for under 16s on social media. How's that going to work?
I think the devil will be in some of that detail. Keeping kids from getting around rules. I mean, I was a teenager once. You were. I mean, part of what teenagers do is we get around the rules, right? We try to buy alcohol when we shouldn't. We try to get in the club that we're not allowed to be in. We have fake IDs, and it's questionable, how this can be enforced and whether it should be enforced by the platforms themselves or by the iOS, the app makers, the Apple and Google. And the platforms would argue that it should be Apple and Google. They're enforcing this, the app stores, and that Apple and Google are saying it should be the platforms. I think reasonable people can see it working both ways, but I think a big question is going to be, how do we make sure this is enforceable in a way that keeps enough kids off the platforms, if that in fact is the way the government wants to go?
Stephen, always good to get your thoughts. Thank you very much for your time.
You got it.